So today we're exploring the ruins of Pompeii, and we're currently in the house of Meander. Is that how you say it?
I think that's how you say
Meander. So this is one of the richest houses in Pompeii, and very impressive gardens. What do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely a really big house. Like, so far we only looked at smaller ones.
It's perhaps one of the richest ones.
I think it's at something like 1,800 square meter. So it's really big.
So it actually turns out that the owner survived 2,000 years.
He sort of survived. He's in there.
There he is. This is his bedroom or something, I guess.
So when the big volcano, the Vesuv, I think it was 79 after Christ, or however you call it, when it erupted and exploded, the whole city Pompeii was buried under the ashes and the lava.
Yeah, it was like a instantaneous covered in ash kind of thing. I think it was 10,000 degrees Celsius, like it.
Oh, you can see it better from here.
Oh, is he in here still? Oh yeah, there he is. What do you reckon? Survived 2,000 years. So it pretty much, the volcano erupted and it was 100,000 times a nuclear explosion of Nagasaki, the Japanese ones. And it instantly covered the city, sort of thing. Like this, I forget what it's called, thermonuclear thing. Basically covered the city in ash instantaneously and just petrified everything. So to this day they're still uncovering.
Yeah. So it created
Uncovering
like
stuff.
it created like a snapshot.
Yeah,
of
basically
the city
snapshot.
2,000 years ago.
And then lava comes over the top and seals it in, sort of thing. But it's interesting because not only does it save like the art on the wall, but it also saves like people in time in molds, essentially. So there's molds around of like people like freaking out in defensive stances, and that's interesting. But
So it's really interesting, but like to some extent it's also just sad. Like if you have to imagine like all these people were living here and then the volcano exploded and they all just died.
instantly, sort of
Because
thing.
they died instantly. They had no warning, they didn't have anything, they ran into their houses and then they got buried.
Yeah. So this is the original road, and it's actually funny, like they didn't have cars or anything in this city, but what they did have is when it rains, this street essentially, it was all these cobblestones and it would just fill with water and shit, and that's why they have the stepping stones back there. So they use the stepping stones to cross their river of shit, essentially.
Oh shit. That's what I call it, I think.
So another interesting thing about Pompeii is it's the only remaining source of Vulgar Latin, essentially, and the Vulgar Latin is essentially graffiti on the walls. So this looks like graffiti, and if you read Latin then let me know what it says, but that's probably some sort of swearing, because like Pompeii had a lot of swearing graffiti. That was what it contributed to the understanding of the Latin language.
It's nice handwriting though.
Yeah, I wish my graffiti was that good. Their cooking ventures are so well preserved, hey?
They look so pretty. And I kind of feel like they're not dusty because everybody touches it and then over there they're dusty.
Yeah.
I'd get this.
You'd get one of them?
Yeah.
So an interesting thing I think is like, I can imagine being like a Roman, and if someone like mugged you in the street or something like this in Pompeii, you know, they'd zip down the little alleyways and into a house and then through the house left and right, and then straight away it's like, you can kind of imagine how it's like a little society living together. And I think Pompeii does that very well, because all the houses and stuff, the layout's intact and some of the artwork's intact, and you see some graffiti here and there, and it's very well preserved. Good shout out to Mount Vesuvius. Shout out to Mount Vesuvius. No?
Sad they all died. I like it so much here. If you like get away from the crowds and just find a street where there's nobody else, because then you can really imagine how you're like, hey, this is my street, and you can kind of pretend in your head it's where you live, and I'm home now, see you later. Good night, I'm going to my bedroom.
You going to your bed?
Yeah. Yeah, good night.
Good night.
Welcome to my house.
This is your house?
Yeah.
Welcome to my Roman house in Pompeii. We don't really have a wealthy house though, Guido.
That's alright.
That's alright. I guess.
Bedroom.
Bedroom, yeah.
Nice window to the street, so if you need to go away in the middle of the night, just chuck it out the window.
Yeah, that's how we do it in Roman times, right?
That's right.
I'm not sure about the roof.
That's
Or
what
the
that's what
ceilings.
one of the guides said actually. So back then all the roofs were flat because they didn't really need to last for anything. So when the volcano came, they all crashed.
Oh.
So the rest got preserved, but all the roofs they didn't survive.
Alright. Lock the door. Wow. No idea what this is, but it looks impressive. The Amphitheater of Death. So this is the Amphitheater of Pompeii, which is essentially like the theater area where they have gladiators and slaves fight to the death. What do you reckon? Would you like to fight to the death here, Guido?
No thanks.
Would you like to sit up there and watch someone fight to the death?
I like to look at it though. Cool how they built it.
Yeah, that's
The
right.
tunnel is my favourite bit.
The tunnel. Yeah.
Tunnel along the side and the tunnel out.
I feel like when you walk in the middle of an amphitheater, you got to imagine like what's it like if you're Mr. Gladiator Man, and there's another Mr. Gladiator Man over there somewhere, and a crowd of however many thousand people or so watching you and old mate fight it out. What a unique experience that would be. Definitely a trip down memory path visiting Pompeii.
Memory path.
Yeah.
Remember it's your house.
Where the wineries were essentially is they have another winery here, like example, the one just there, and they cultivate the grapes in the same way that they used to do the grapes back in the day, back in 0 BC kind of thing, when Pompeii was a thriving little city. What do you think how they dug everything up, stole it, and then refilled it in? What do you think about that?
It's pretty weird. Like, you discover something you would think you would share with everybody, but you just don't. You just steal everything that's precious and cover it back up so nobody really knows, I guess.
Yeah,
And this is such a cool house.
yeah. Look at even the floor.
The floors, the walls, and the marble beds, and crazy.
Someone's little bedroom in this little house, and their tiny little doorways. They definitely weren't like big white people. It must have been much smaller. I've noticed a few doorways as well, bumping my head on and things like that. But it's so nice in Pompeii that you can just walk in some of these houses and imagine, like, wonder if they had their kitchen table over here. Where do you reckon the kitchen was? Do you reckon the kitchen bench was this thing?
It's hard to tell. In most of the houses, the kitchen bench is like right at the front,
Yeah.
and it's still preserved. You never know if like every single house had a kitchen.
I suppose, yeah.
Maybe they had their servants.
It's crazy just like seeing every single house. No roofs though. They didn't have roofs back then apparently.
Yeah, we just had a look at a bakery, but they were all sold out.
Oh, yeah. What do we got in here? Oh, just a bedroom. So that was actually the first body mold created by the people killed by the pyroclastic flow. And that was a little family, and the first one, the first family that was made into a mold.
Big house.
Big house, but it's pretty interesting just seeing like those people and the moment they were caught in their instant death. Like the woman was, she was holding a few valuables and stuff like that. What do you think?
Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy that it's even possible that they can be captured like that.
Love all the mosaics on the floor. Hey, they're pretty cool. What do you reckon?
That looks awesome. It looks like so much work.
It's like a medieval freaking trident and everything. I want one of them on my floor. I've just decided. Some statues, like that's a 2,000-year-old statue. I think everyone needs to appreciate that for a second. This is definitely a tourist hotspot. Holy shit, over there as well. 5,000 tourists were here on this day. Hashtag fake facts.
There are probably more tourists here right now than people lived in the city.
Maybe.
Oh, that might be the volcano.
I like centaurs. So pretty much this area here at the moment with all the tourists, this was the marketplace. And no cars allowed, but they didn't have cars back then, so no carts allowed.
Sitting up to
The Basilica.
I'm sitting on 2,000 years of history. Interesting.
So this was a basilica, aka an ancient Roman church. And can you appreciate that someone was like, yep, I'm gonna put that brick there 2,000 years ago. It's a long time.
It's so hard to imagine that they literally died like that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like they were playing, laying around, holding the child in the air.
Just about 2,000 years ago, these people died in that position. In that very position.
Crazy.
That's a pretty cool city wall.
Wait, that's all the wall?
Yeah, that's a wall. So this is the temple of Apollo, and this was one of the oldest Roman temples in existence. And it was actually much higher, so there was another layer up there and stretching right up in the air. And the purpose of that was so everyone in the forum, which is just beyond this wall, could see it. So this here is the granary. You know what the granary is, Guido? It's where they store all the food.
Yeah, you can see the free.
So another really interesting thing about it is in the granary there's all these people who have died here and their mold is still there. So you can see exactly how they died. And you can imagine. Wonder what they were thinking. Wonder what that little kid was thinking. I don't think it's possible for us to imagine what it would be like to get killed by pyroclastic flow. So pretty much the whole reason why we are here today is because of old mate chilling up there. Old mate Mount Vesuvius. Vesuv. So pyroclastic flow came down off that mountain. 10,000 degrees Celsius, I believe it is. At thousands of kilometers an hour or something like that. So fast.
Nobody
and just
expected it.
snapshotted this city. And this is the reason why we're here today, more than anything else. Because of old mate.
And it's been buried for so long.
Yeah. So right now we're heading into one of the villas, which was outside of the city. And look at those pillars, like they're tiny.
Yeah.
But when you think about it,
necessary.
when you think about it, this was just like one dude's house and his wife and his family, some slaves, some animals. And that's a normal life in ancient Rome. Well, ancient Roman city.
The Roman Empire.
Yeah. Welcome to my ancient Roman house, because this was my house back in the day. Hey, look, it's the owner. He's still got his teeth. He still has his teeth. I feel like that was the most well-preserved paint in any room I've seen in Pompeii. All of Pompeii in this villa of mysteries. So the reason for that is due to the darkness. The darkness preserves the paint.
This fresco is the most famous, one of the most famous of the old times. It's supposed.
So it's pretty impressive. Just this is one of the 7 roads to Pompeii. All the cobblestone. I really like that. It's one of the things I like. Do you like that?
especially because it's special cobblestone. You hardly find that anywhere in like something like that with some big rocks.
Yeah, just because it's so old. Hard to appreciate that.
That's right.
That's such a tiny little mosaic of Alexander the Great on the floor. Very nice statues, very well preserved in Pompeii for 2,000 years old. It's crazy.
Thank you.
Like, this is 2,000 years old, those pillars up there.
And the thing is, what you have to consider, it's been buried into ashes 79 after Christ.
Yep.
But it's been built way before that as well. So it might be even older than 2,000 years.
Yeah. And I think we're heading out now. I think we've seen Pompeii, all there is to see. Beautiful city. I would recommend coming here. Would you recommend
Oh
coming
yeah. I've been here the second time now. I've been here 3 years ago. And I already said earlier, like, I've been here and I've seen all the things, but it's crazy how easy you forget.
Yeah.
Or also how much more there is to
Yes,
see.
this is the Apollo one. Yeah, it's how much you see on foot. It's and there's so many little experiences that you just can't appreciate
Yeah.
without being here in person.
I would
But-
come here again.
Yeah, me too.
In like
I'm
5 years, I'd be like, yeah, sure. I'll go
5
again.
years. I'm happy I've been.
Same.
I really love all this Roman culture. Didn't know I loved it that much, but being here makes you love it more. What do you think?
That's right. Makes you appreciate it more.
Now I want my next mission, get a Roman helmet. Where's my Roman helmet at, Gita?
Proper one.
Maybe you can get me one.
Okay. It's Christmas Day, hey?
Start digging down there or something.
Oh, an original.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. See you later,
next time.
See you, Pompeii. Back to Italy.